Hey, I am Sean Clinton, certified personal trainer, health and fitness entrepreneur, and the author of several health related books, including this book, What You Can Do About High Blood Pressure. And one of the things that I write about in that book is, kind of one of the obvious things that you can do to naturally lower your blood pressure. And that is consuming less sodium or consuming less salt. Another thing is that works in conjunction with that I also talk about in this book is increasing your potassium. Now, and you can get your copy of the book and kind of read a little bit more so you can kind of know all the ins and outs of what I'm talking about here. But a lot of times, now don't get me wrong, it is probably true that a lot of us, most of us, consume too much sodium in our diets. We have salt shakers at the table, and then we kind of put too much salt on our stuff. We salt probably after we're done cooking, and we put extra salt more than we need to. And so yeah, I'm sure there's that issue. But the thing with sodium in the body is your kidneys maintain a certain sodium potassium balance to regulate the amount of water in your blood, in your bloodstream, in your body. And a lot of times, what is really at play is that our balance of sodium and potassium, which should be a certain ratio in the body, our balance is off. And so then what happens is our bodies retain water, and whenever you retain water inside of those blood vessels, and it increases the pressure of the blood against the walls of your blood vessels, and then your blood pressure increases because literally the pressure on the inner walls of your blood vessels goes up, you know. But again, it's more about the balance rather than just simply the just the sodium. Okay, and so sure, don't use salt shakers at the table, and overall lower your sodium consumption. Only salt to taste. Don't salt to taste salt in your food. But then the other thing is consume more potassium. Now, it's not necessarily a good idea to consume potassium in like a concentrated form because it can actually be pretty dangerous if you do it wrong. It can cause heart issues. But what is the main source of potassium in our diets? Plant food. It's really that simple. So I think really what's at play is that we're not eating enough vegetables. Of course, we already know, the foods with perhaps the highest sources of potassium in American diets are bananas and white potatoes. But vegetables in general have, significant levels of potassium. So keep that in mind. Up your intake of vegetables, generally decrease your consumption of sodium. And keep this in mind too. A lot of foods naturally contain sodium. They naturally have some sodium inside of them. So like keep that in mind. You may not necessarily have to add more salt or as much salt as you need to because there's already sodium in the plants. So anyhow, I'll let that be it. Make sure you get your copy of What You Can Do About High Blood Pressure off of Amazon using the link that I've provided. Make sure you share with your friends because I know it's a lot of high blood pressure out there. But also remember, there's a whole lot you can do as well to that is aside from medication to actually not just manage it, but to resolve why it's there in the first place. Hope this helps. Thank you guys.